The Western Cape High Court has suspended a 0.5% VAT increase set for May the 1st, 2025, after a challenge by the DA and the EFF. SARS Commissioner Edward Kieswetter has welcomed the ruling, urging vendors and consumers to maintain the 15% VAT rate. Finance Minister Minister Godongwana withdrew the hike last week, with the court ratifying the decision on April the 27th, 2025. Well, joining us now is SARS Commissioner Edward Kieswetter. Good afternoon and thank you for taking time out to chat to us today.
Good afternoon, Juliet. It's a pleasure.
As you can imagine, tax vendors and taxpayers are a little bit confused at this time. What messages are you, as SARS, sending out?
Well, first of all, SARS has welcomed the decision because it brings legal certainty.
Yes.
Some of the issues are still up for debate and will be ventilated in court. And SARS is not necessarily a view on other than always honouring the outcomes of legal process. Now, what the court order yesterday helps us is in the administration of the VAT Act. And uncertainty or lack of clarity is not helpful for us as the administrator, neither is it helpful for taxpayers and traders or vendors, and ultimately it could compromise consumers at the point of sale. And so the advice that we have given to vendors, notwithstanding the fact that we know this has some challenges for them because many vendors and retailers have already adjusted their system. They've sent out advisors to their different clients about the adjustment. They now have to not only reverse this, they also have to adjust their systems.
Sure.
And what we are saying is, hopefully, most of them will be able to do so, and the large ones have given us the assurance that they will unwind the adjustment and stick with the 15%. We certainly are pulling back on the implementation of the 15.5%, but we have also received feedback from some vendors that it'll be a challenge for them to make the reversal in time. Here we are advising consumers to be vigilant, that at the point of sale, they must make sure the invoice reflects a 15% VAT inclusion and not a 15.5% inclusion.
So what happens if, sorry, Commissioner, what happens if a retailer does charge 15.5%? What are the consumer's rights? How do they get that back?
The consumer has to insist for a manual adjustment at the point of sale.
Okay.
And that's why our public notice has also drawn attention to consumers to be vigilant.
Yes.
We believe most of the large retailers and service providers will make the adjustment in time, but as is the case with the best plans, we suspect that a few of the smaller vendors may not be able to make the adjustments. And there, a vigilance at the point of sale, an insistence on a manual adjustment or by some mutual agreement to ensure that the effective increase that is imputed is only 15%.
And then what measures are in place to ensure that this does happen and there is compliance with vendors and this 15% VAT?
So again, we will continue to work with vendors to make them aware, make it easy for them to comply.
Yes.
But over the next few months, we will increase our level of vigilance.
Yes.
We have shared with the public before, we have risk detection AI that we use. We will calibrate that AI to have a look at a higher sample of VAT returns to make sure, in fact, that the 15% is complied with.
Thank you. Now, the EFF is calling for the withdrawal of the 2025 fiscal framework and revenue proposals, which included that 0.5% VAT increase. The party is seeking alternative revenue sources. What is possible in terms of increasing corporate and wealth taxes?
I don't want to single out a particular type of tax, but we have consistently shared with the Minister, with our colleagues in Treasury, and with the public at large, that we do believe that one of the instruments available is a more efficient drive to collect the revenue that's already due to the state.
Yes.
And we will continue to work with the Minister and our colleagues in Treasury as they formulate the next version of the budget as has been directed by Parliament to make sure that the broadest possible approach is taken, which obviously has to be a balance of income and expenditure.
Sure.
Ultimately, the mathematics have to add up. And if you are spending more than what you can generate, you have to find alternative ways. And the Minister has been very clear that with the current exclusion, there is still the 75 billion over the medium term that has to be found one way or the other. SARS will, over the next few years, look at continuing to invest in its own systems. We've targeted specifically collecting the debt that is already due to the state.
Yes.
But over the medium term, we'll continue to use the investment allocation to improve our overall efficiency and therefore ensure that the revenue, more of the revenue that's already due to the state, is in fact collected.
Now, the party has asked for income tax brackets to be adjusted for inflation. Is this on the cards at all?
Well, everything has to be back on the cards now.
Yeah.
And I don't want to preempt where the Minister will conclude, but I know, having spoken to the Minister, that we have to have an absolute open mind and consider all possibilities. Ultimately, it is about the choice that the Minister made of fiscal consolidation, which means we do not have open-ended access to debt.
Yeah.
And if we also are constraining tax increases, then what's left for us is to seek alternative ways of collecting revenue more efficiently, but also to make some hard calls on the expenditure side.
Commissioner, thank you so much for taking time out to chat to us this afternoon on that VAT issue and other tax collection issues. Really appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.